After failing to take revenge for the fallen US helicopter, Trump is once again challenging Iran with a fresh warning. Pay the price, Trump declares. But is the US president jeopardizing his own forces with another threat? Iran is striking a defiant tone despite carrying out attacks that rattled America's key Arab allies in the Gulf.
They will not be able to force Iran to surrender with these threats, and we certainly will not surrender.
As 21 US-linked targets burn across the Gulf, Trump is now eyeing Iran's critical energy infrastructure. Trump appears to be contradicting himself yet again, while risking his own allies with a dangerous new war plan.
If we do the bombing, a lot of people are going to be killed. Who wants to do that? I don't.
As the dust is yet to settle between Iran and America, Donald Trump has rolled out yet another threat against Tehran. Trump alleged that Iran took too long to reach a deal with the United States and therefore must now pay the price. The US president went on to claim that Iran has been completely and decisively defeated in the war. The US president said, and I quote, "Iran's military is a complete and total mess. Much of it, like their Navy and Air Force, doesn't even exist anymore. They have been completely defeated. Iran is all talk and no action. The bully of the Middle East is dead. They've taken too long to negotiate a deal that would have been great for them. Now they will have to pay the price." End quote. Meanwhile, Trump also threatened further escalation against Iran's critical energy infrastructure and strategic assets. The US president, in a Fox News interview, reportedly suggested that he may keep going against Iran. Donald Trump further hinted that Iran's power plants, bridges, and key infrastructure could be exposed to future strikes. In another post on Truth Social, Trump also claimed victory over Iran in the Strait of Hormuz. The US president said, and I quote, "The fake news media refuses to report how effective the US naval blockade is, the most successful blockade in the history of naval warfare. Nothing gets through unless we want it to. It is a steel wall. Iran is doing zero business, not paying their military, or any of their bills. And quickly becoming a failed nation. Lots of oil is getting out. Praise be to Allah." End quote.
You just say 2 or 3 days or 2 or 3 weeks that you'll be signing. You'll be signing a peace agreement.
No, we have a good chance of doing it. We should be able to do it in 1 hour, if you want to know the truth.
What's the biggest sticking point right now?
I don't think there are any sticking points. I think we're very close to having a very, very good, strong, powerful deal. If we go and bomb, which we can do very easily if we want, and we spend another 2 or 3 weeks bombing, they'll have nothing left whatsoever, but you won't have the strait open for months. If we do the bombing, a lot of people are going to be killed. Who wants to do that? I don't. And we'll have a signed document that's actually stronger than doing the bombing. What has proven to be a very powerful thing is the blockade. The blockades turned out to be much stronger than bombing. And it was really a combination. It was our initial thrust and then the blockade. But, their economy is really suffering and they're going to make a deal.
Hours after Iran and America traded fresh blows, Tehran once again drew a clear red line for Donald Trump. Iran accused the United States of undermining any remaining attempts at diplomacy through repeated ceasefire violations. Iran, on June 10th, threatened to reassess ongoing talks with Washington despite Trump's latest warning.
We need to examine this properly. Look, diplomacy and the battlefield are not separate from each other. They are part of the same continuum, two parallel tools used to safeguard Iran's national interests and national security. Wherever necessary, our armed forces respond to the enemy with strength and power. There is no need for me to say it. What happened last night showed that Iran's armed forces do not hesitate in defending the country. In the same way, in the field of diplomacy, the same principle applies. The pillars of the system, wherever necessary, make use of diplomacy, and wherever required, they also rely on military capability for the defense of the country. Unfortunately, the United States is undermining this diplomatic process, both through contradictory messaging, through its constantly shifting positions and demands, and, more seriously, through repeated violations of the ceasefire. It is not only the United States. The Zionist regime, through repeated violations of the ceasefire in Lebanon, is also damaging this process. Naturally, any diplomatic process is harmed when force is used and when illegal actions are taken on the battlefield.
Iranian President Masoud Pezeshkian also warned the United States and Israel that there would be no surrender from Tehran.
The enemy has based all its plans on fueling discord, because it is impossible to force a country to surrender with airplanes and bombing. Look at Gaza. As small as it has been 3 years now, and they have not been able to force it to surrender. They will not be able to force Iran to surrender with these threats, and we certainly will not surrender. We must get out of this no war, no peace situation. War is certainly not in the country's interest, but if they want to infringe upon our dignity, our soil, and our land, we will not surrender or back down. Let them dream of such a thing. It is not something we will ever retreat from. They imagined that with the actions they took, they would be able to topple our revolution, Iran's government, within 3 days and then implement their own sinister intentions in our country. But you, with the presence of these dear ones, an active, round-the-clock presence filled with love, dashed all those illusions. For the time being, we should avoid raising existing differences in any form. This is the most important issue the enemy is currently pursuing. They are pinning their hopes on creating discord and division within the country to carry out their intentions. Having failed with those other methods, war and blockade, they now want to achieve it through this.
IRGC statement read, and I quote, "4 important targets were hit at the airbase and command center of the child-killing American army in Al-Azraq, Jordan." Following the successful operation of the IRGC Navy in hitting 21 targets in American air and naval bases in the region and shooting down an MQ-9 drone in the skies of Jam County, and in view of the enemy's continued mischief, in completing the retaliatory operation, the forces of Islam and the brave fighters of the IRGC Aerospace Force, using their long-range solid-fuel missiles, targeted and destroyed 4 important targets, including the hangars of F-35 fighter jets at the airbase and command center of the child-killing American army in Al-Azraq, Jordan. Our forces are ready for a crushing and decisive response to any renewed aggression by the enemy, and the consequences of any renewed aggression will be the responsibility of the American enemy." Unquote. Meanwhile, reports emerged of fresh attacks targeting U.S. military bases in Bahrain and Kuwait, signaling a further escalation in the rapidly widening confrontation. Iran claims its latest retaliatory strike directly targeted the U.S. Navy's 5th Fleet headquarters in Bahrain, marking a major escalation in the Gulf confrontation. The IRGC is warning that American military installations across the Middle East remain vulnerable if Washington continues its military campaign against Iran. Iran says its retaliation extended beyond Bahrain, with missile and drone attacks also targeting U.S. military facilities in Kuwait. Tehran claims long-range missiles struck key targets at the Al-Azraq airbase in Jordan, where American forces maintain a strategic presence. Iran has vowed a crushing response to any further U.S. attacks, signaling that its retaliatory campaign could widen across the region if tensions continue to rise. Iran International Report said, and I quote, "Iran's Revolutionary Guard said they struck 4 key targets at the U.S. Al-Azraq airbase in Jordan, including what they described as F-35 fighter shelters and a command and control center." In a statement carried by Fast News, the IRGC said the attack was part of a continuing retaliatory operation following earlier strikes by its naval forces on U.S. facilities in the region and the reported downing of a U.S. MQ-9 drone over Bushehr province. The Guard said their aerospace force used long-range solid-fuel missiles to target and destroy 4 sites at the base. The IRGC warned that Iranian forces remain prepared to deliver a decisive and crushing response to any further attacks and said responsibility for the consequences of future military action would rest with the United States. Unquote. Iran has warned Washington of consequences after U.S. strikes near the Strait of Hormuz, vowing retaliation and raising fears of a wider regional conflict. After President Trump ordered retaliatory strikes over the downing of a U.S. Apache helicopter, Tehran responded with fresh threats and military action, escalating tensions across the Gulf. As CENTCOM wrapped up its strikes against Iranian targets, Tehran claimed to have launched attacks on U.S. bases, signaling that the confrontation is far from over. U.S. CENTCOM statement read, and I quote, "U.S. Central Command, CENTCOM, forces completed self-defense strikes against Iran, June 9th, at the Commander-in-Chief's direction in response to yesterday's downing of a U.S. Army Apache helicopter. CENTCOM forces struck Iranian air defense, ground control stations, and surveillance radar sites near the Strait of Hormuz with precision munitions from U.S. Air Force and Navy fighter jets. The operation was a proportional response to recent attacks on U.S. forces and international commercial ships transiting regional waters. U.S. forces remain vigilant and postured to defend against unjustified Iranian aggression, unquote. While CENTCOM says its operation is complete, Iran's Revolutionary Guard has signaled that its response is only beginning, with U.S. military bases across the region now firmly in its sights. Iran's Qassem Al-Anbiya Central HQ statement read, and I quote, "In response to the aggression of the terrorist American army in areas of southern Iran under the false pretext of their helicopter crashing, several U.S. bases in the region have been targeted by a powerful assault from the heroic army of the Islamic Republic of Iran and the brave warriors of the IRGC. The criminal U.S. Army should know that if it repeats any aggression against the Islamic Republic of Iran, more severe and extensive strikes will be carried out against the designated target bank in the region." Unquote. Trump's so-called self-defense strikes after the Apache loss appear to have faltered almost as soon as they began. Another MQ-9 drone has reportedly been downed by the IRGC in Jam City, in Iran's Bushehr province. On camera, IRGC air defenses appear to intercept an American drone as U.S. battlefield losses mount. Mojtaba appears to begin his revenge campaign as the first missile is launched from Iran amid renewed aggression.